Where we lose is we start getting too complicated with things. Insurance is a complicated product. Think about that reaction that you have. You sort of glaze over, and then you might go home and Google it, which, hey, everybody, I want to give you a big tip on customer service strategies. And this strategy is something so simple, but sometimes we forget. And I've done a lot of customer service training lately, just to kind of get in the role for our new course that we're launching. But there's one thing that reigns supreme whenever we talk to customer service professionals, and that is how to explain coverage to a client. And I always say, I'm going to simplify it all for you. You don't talk about coverage, you talk about what it insures. So, for example, do I really want to go through all the logistics about workers' comp or general liability? Or do I want to talk about my business and the what if that could happen and how this policy comes into play? Most people aren't buying insurance because they love insurance, they're buying it because they love the thing that it insures. So if you flip the switch and you think about that for a second, take a moment and start talking about what it insures and some of the stories associated with it. Avoid using big, complicated terms. We don't want that. That confuses people. Universally, when you confuse, you lose. You will lose those clients and you will confuse them. A lot of them have purchased insurance for so long that they're embarrassed to tell you that they don't know what you're talking about. And that's not something that you want, right? For my husband, he has a blue race car Mustang. If you followed me, you know that, and you know my feelings on it. He will tell you all about how cool his insurance policy is because it covers his tools. He'll tell you it doesn't cover it on the racetrack, but he doesn't use any of the complicated terms. He just knows that his second wife, Kelly, the blue Mustang, is protected if it catches on fire. You need to make it all about the blue Mustang and not about the policy, and also not about the this and the that and the heavy insurance terms. Another tip I want to give you when explaining coverage is this, is 2 sentences and a question. That's it. So for example, if you're talking about an umbrella policy, you may want to just start with 2 sentences and a question. Say, have you ever considered what might happen if you hit somebody and your policy expends itself? It's a question. Let the person answer and then say, well, there's another policy I would like to recommend. It's pretty inexpensive. If the policy ever expended itself, we wouldn't have to go into potentially your retirement. There'd be another $1 million of coverage there. What do you think about getting that added onto your policy? So you're always thinking about how to break things down into very easy, very bite-sized chunks so that the average person can understand it. Where we lose is we start getting too complicated with things. Insurance is a complicated product. I want you to imagine your financial planner using too big of terms, or your doctor if you've got something going on. Think about that reaction that you have. You sort of glaze over, and then you might go home and Google it, which isn't always going to bring you what you want your customer to see, right? So our tip is just talk about what it insures, the thing that the person loves, that's why they're buying the policy, in 2 sentences and a question, and you should have winning success in getting your insureds to buy more coverage.